Welcome to Write On Audio. We hope you enjoy this feature presentation. All Write On Audio presentations are protected by copyright and are the exclusive property of Write On e-Publishing, LLC. If you enjoy this presentation, please like, share, and subscribe to receive notifications of all our latest content. Now please enjoy this Write On Audio feature presentation.
Write On Audio presents Sir Leftfoot, a Write On Press feature. No more than 11 years old, the young lad stood before the god of war and the thousands of spectating stars that painted the green pastures a somber yet shining blue. With arms wide open, wooden sword in hand, he closed his eyes and took in the sharp, cool air. Towering next to him stood a 6-foot-tall knight in shimmering armor and 2 left feet with the treehouse emblem on his shield. Both the boy and knight were accompanied by 500 men, each nastier and meaner than the other. They bore clubs, worn axes, and rusted swords, all ready to clash headfirst with whatever waited for them on the other side of the hill. The boy walked down the line, beating his chest in unison with his knight, Sir Leftfoot, encouraging the men to join. Boom, 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 the beat shaking the once silent night. "Tonight," the boy hollered, "is no different than any other night. We have crawled and clawed our way to the throat of our enemy." Sir Leftfoot walked down the opposite way, helping keep the line in check. "It is time we take back what is ours." "Yeah," half the men cried out. "Here, here," the others bolstered. "We are close to the end, brothers. Come with me to victory. Together we return home." The boy and the knight walked back to the center of the line. With his army behind him and Sir Leftfoot by his side, he raised his sword, stalling the beat. Using his weapon, he pointed towards true north. "For freedom!" he cried. And from the gates, all 500 men thundered up the hill. His short legs could barely keep up, but like the warrior he was, he sprinted on. The ground rumbled, the cheering spilled over the precipice of the hill, and for a moment it seemed like fortune was on their side. That was until the stars began to fall. They gazed upon hell's fury coming down tenfold, flaming arrows, and nowhere to run for cover. "Oh no," the boy exhaled. He shut his gaze but bothered not to run. "It was a pleasure serving next to you, Sir Leftfoot." The knight crouched over his tiny body, hoping to shelter the boy. "I'm sorry," the boy whispered. "I could have been better." He held his breath, waiting for impact. "Tyler, dinner is ready, hun." With those magic words, the flaming arrows dissipated. The 500 men vanished, and the battlefield returned to its original state as a backyard. All that was left was a wooden sword, a boy, and his imaginary friend, Sir Leftfoot. "Talk about a close call, huh?" Tyler elbowed the knight. They both trudged back into the house, not before taking off his shoes, of course. Sir Leftfoot usually tracked mud into the house, but being how he was only visible to Tyler, the knight could manage to get away with it. Inside the humble abode were books with the edges of their pages bent like dog ears, and coffee stains on the coffee table, because what other stains would that sort of table sustain? Along the living room wall were family pictures of a mother, son, and a loving father, whose bell tolled before he could see his son go off to first grade. Twinkling lights hung above because warm lighting, as the boy's mother would say, is the perfect lighting for story time. It was indeed a cozy home where a single parent could raise and shelter their child. Tyler walked into the kitchen where his nose met the aroma of the chef's famous spaghetti. On the table there it sat, a plate full with 3 perfectly shaped meatballs, its steam rising to the top. Tyler chugged a glass of water, his heavy breathing audible from the cup. "Slow your roll, kiddo." His mom pulled down the cup to slow him down. "You're going to give yourself a stomach ache if you drink too fast." Sir Leftfoot pointed to the boy's mom and nodded his head, agreeing with the soft and gentle woman. "Sorry, Mom, just very thirsty." Tyler wiped the water mustache from his upper lip. "Sir Leftfoot and I almost won back our castle." The knight put his hand against his hip with some sass. Okay. Truth is, we're done for. You called us back right in time." The boy sat down at the kitchen table and waited for his mom to join. "A glass of wine a day gives my students an A," she said, pouring herself a healthy serving of red. Tyler's mom proceeded to ask him about his day. The usual questions, really. How was school? Did you finish your homework? And the one he always hated to hear, did you make any new friends today? See, Tyler was a sweet kid. He never talked back, always did as he was told, and kept other people's feelings in mind. The one strange thing about him was his 6-foot-tall imaginary friend. Most middle school kids don't have imaginary friends. In fact, one could be fairly certain that no normal kid has an imaginary friend past the age of 6. No, I haven't made new friends yet. Tyler pushed out the words from a mouthful full of spaghetti. Don't talk with your mouth full. She knew asking him wasn't going to change anything, yet she needed to try. Well, what if you asked your imaginary friend to stay home just this once? Maybe you could talk to your classmates instead of him. Tyler looked over to Sir Leftfoot standing over the stove where the pot of spaghetti was, attempting to waft the aroma. Sir Leftfoot looked back and shook his head. Sorry, Mom. He doesn't like staying here. He gets bored. She sighed, blowing the strand of hair out of her face. Okay, we can try next week? She haggled. Sir Leftfoot shrugged. Maybe. The northern coast is known for its gloomy days and constant rainfall, so why would this Thursday be any different? The second period bell rang, and Tyler sat alone in his life science class, while the other students chattered amongst one another. The boy looked out the window, watching Sir Leftfoot frolic in the rain. The knight motioned for him to join, to which Tyler shrugged and gestured towards the teacher. One of the students saw him talking to no one in particular, making them raise an eyebrow. The knight slumped and stomped back into the building. When the door opened, the boy was expecting Sir Leftfoot to come clanking in, soaking wet. Instead, in came a girl with a ponytail holding onto her textbooks nervously. The young man wasn't sure if he was feeling all right. He couldn't stop staring at her. He was drawn to her, but he couldn't understand why. His stomach felt funny. Maybe it's something I ate, he thought to himself. Ah, Lucy. The teacher waved his hand, asking her to step in fully. Class, this is our new addition to second period. Her name is Lucy. Please be kind and respectful. Now let's find you a seat. The only seat available was the chair next to Tyler, since no one wanted to sit next to him in the beginning of the school year. The teacher pointed towards the boy who sat alone and asked her to take a seat. The boy couldn't stop staring, possibly because she had a cute nose, the kind that scrunches up adorably when one is slightly confused. She sat down and awkwardly said hello. The young man did the same, both kids staring at the teacher, looking for further direction. Sir Leftfoot dripped from the hallway into the classroom. He raised his hands in confusion. Why was there a girl sitting on his seat? Tyler whispered under his breath. Sorry. He glanced at Lucy and back at Sir Leftfoot. She's new. The little girl raised an eyebrow. What? She whispered. No, nothing. Tyler quickly responded, combing back his hair. The knight sat cross-legged in the corner, his armor looking a little less polished than usual. 7 p.m. rolled by. Tyler sat on the living room rug, trying to finish his homework. Sir Leftfoot by his side struggled to make a paper plane. The knight folded and bent the imaginary piece of paper, showcasing his work to Tyler, proud of his ill-molded replica. The boy giggled and shook his head. So close, buddy. He then proceeded to push his textbook away and pondered, looking up at the ceiling. The knight tapped the boy's knee and raised his hands, asking what was wrong. The boy didn't know how to even phrase the question. In fact, he wasn't sure what he was feeling, but that new girl in class kept coming up in his thoughts. He simply couldn't stop thinking about her. His mom walked through the front door, pushing the door open with her back as she wrestled with the grocery bags. No, don't mind me, just dragging in the food to feed you, you little rascal. Tyler quickly got up to help her carry everything in. Thank you, offspring. She rustled his hair. I knew having you would pay off, she smirked. Now to the kitchen. She pointed with gusto. He never had to wonder what kind of day he was going to have when coming home. He always knew that his mother would be there for him. He knew that she would always make him laugh and make him feel safe. What he will never know is what it would have been like to have his father at home. His mom made some chamomile tea and poured him a cup. They sat on the couch watching their favorite show, Beyond the Horizon, a family show about a boy and a dog exploring the country on their search for his estranged father. Tyler got to thinking, Mom, how did you and Dad meet? Oh, now that is a good story. One could say it's good enough for... Drum roll, please. The boy drummed on the coffee table. Story time! Hit the lights, Jack! She called out. Tyler ran and turned off the living room lights and turned on the Christmas lights that hung all around the room. He sat back down on the floor where the knight laid on his stomach, propping himself up with his elbows. Well, I guess it's time you knew. She stood up for dramatic effect. Your father and I met on a ship. It was called the Titanic, she exclaimed. She looked back, but Tyler had no look of confusion or excitement on his face. He took the news rather as a matter of factly. Really? Nothing? Is that a famous ship or something? He asked. Okay, I need to talk to your teachers. Better yet, after this we are watching the movie. She sat back down. So you didn't meet on a ship? Tyler asked, scrunching his button nose. Alas, no. We met at a coffee shop that was located on our college campus. I was a drama student trying to get my studies on, and he was a music major getting ready to play for open mic night. You should know your father was a geek, but my goodness, was he cute. She sipped on her tea and gazed at one of the pictures in the living room. That day I was so caught up in my midterms, I didn't even notice he was there. That was until he started to play. Ambiance is everything, Tyler. Maybe it was the fact that it was snowing that night, or that the lighting was just right. But I swear it felt like he was playing just for me. The way his hands glided over the keys, the way he felt the music, I had never seen someone create a sound so tangible. Then he looked at me, and I was smitten. She gazed back at the big brown eyes of the little boy that chemistry and love created, and for a quick second she wondered if this is what her late husband looked like as a child. What does being smitten feel like? Tyler asked. Well, it's like having butterflies in your stomach. The boy remembered having what felt like an upset stomach when Lucy sat next to him. That sounds uncomfortable, he commented. I guess it can be, but it's a good thing. After he finished performing, I gave him my phone number. He called me the very next night, and it wasn't long before we were inseparable. He took me on countless road trips any time I could get away. After we graduated, we moved in together, and along came baby Tyler. Well, you know the rest. He got me the job as a teacher where he taught band. All the students loved him. She looked down at the rug, sighed, and looked back up. Then he got sick. But, she quickly added, you should know, he loved you more than anything in the world, which is saying a lot because I was his favorite first. She looked at the time and realized the show was about to start. They turned the TV on and got lost in another reality together. But every now and then she would look back down at the boy with the messy hair sitting on the floor next to her, wanting to smell her child, missing the way he smelled as a baby. Morning came, and Tyler walked downstairs to find his mom getting his lunch ready. She tossed in a bag of gummies. He politely asked if he could have a second, to which she answered, no. Too much sugar isn't good for one's teeth. Tyler said that it wasn't going to be for him, that he wanted to share. His mom's face lit up. Did you make a new friend, Tyler? Why didn't you tell me about it yesterday? Tyler shook his head and said that he wasn't really friends with anyone, but he wanted to try. His mom placed an extra bag of gummies and cookies. Just in case, she said, winking at him. The young man sat alone in the classroom, this time impatiently waiting for the cute girl he'd been wanting to see since the day before. Sir Leftfoot seemed to struggle with his own nervousness, unable to stop one of his left feet from tapping. Lucy walked in wearing a shirt with a quote from the same show Tyler and his mom watched every night. He nudged Sir Leftfoot to get up. Lucy took notice, but it only seemed like he had a nervous twitch. Tyler let out a soft hi, and so did she. The boy smiled. He got her to say hi to him, and that was a win in his book. Sir Leftfoot stood next to him and held out his large hand for a high five. Tyler quickly high-fived the air. Again, Lucy noticed. The teacher began to take the role of the class. I like your shirt, Tyler quickly whispered. This caught Lucy by surprise. What? I said that I like your shirt. It's one of my favorite shows. Me too. I watch it with my family every time after dinner, she added, a slight smile curling on the corner of her lips. Are you all caught up? With the show, I mean? Of course. A true fan never misses an episode. My favorite episode is when the boy and his dog, Buddy, sneak into a barn and he later wakes up to find Buddy playing with a calf. Lucy beamed. That's one of my favorites too. It was so cute watching them play, right? Tyler was grinning from ear to ear. He reached into his backpack, pulled out the gummies, and whispered to her if she would like one. My mom always packs an extra one, and I never finish them. Lucy looked over to the teacher and discreetly opened it under her desk. Both kids giggled as they secretively ate their snacks every time the teacher would face the whiteboard. Sir Leftfoot stood in the background, watching his best friend make his first human friend. The bell rang, and everyone gathered their things to move on to their next class. Tyler walked Lucy out of the classroom. With a gentle smile, he told her that he was glad they sat her next to him. She told him she felt the same and that she looked forward to sitting next to him next week. They parted ways, and as soon as Lucy turned the corner, Tyler and the knight quickly turned to each other. The boy beamed and started to beat his fists to an internal rhythm. He bobbed his head, and the knight joined in. Both child and giant danced around each other in the empty hallway. The sunny day glimmered off the waxed floor, and the squeaking of his sneakers filled the hallway. He jumped and pumped his hands in the air. Sir Leftfoot shook his hips and drew out his sword. Tyler halted for a second and asked the knight to put it away. He didn't want him to hurt himself. That was when the boy noticed the flyers. The lockers were covered in purple flyers announcing the spring school dance. He pocketed one and ran to his next class before the bell rang. Later that afternoon, inside Tyler's imagination in his backyard, Sir Leftfoot and Tyler camped out in an evergreen forest. "Did you see me talking to Lucy today? I was like, 'Hey, I like your shirt.' And she was like, 'Thanks, it's my favorite show.' And I was like, 'Yeah, I like it too.' We totally hit it off." The knight doodled on the dirt with his sword. He drew 2 stick figures of a boy and a girl, and little hearts floating above them. "No, now you're getting ahead of yourself," the boy interjected. The sun began to set, which only meant one thing: marauders were on their way. Rustling came from between the trees. Tyler grabbed his wooden sword and hid behind a fallen tree trunk. Sir Leftfoot put his ear to the ground. He signaled 3 marauders. No, 5. Tyler gripped his weapon and held his breath. The campfire was sure to give them away. On the opposite side, just a few yards away, there was more rustling. The knight signaled to the boy. 3 more were coming from the opposite side. They were surrounded. "We really picked a bad day to go camping," Tyler whispered. "Okay, you take the 5, and I'll take on the 3, the boy ordered. Sir Leftfoot shook his head and raised his hands, asking why. "Because you're bigger. You can take the 5. Tyler's voice rose a little too loud. The knight raised his pointer finger to his lips, silencing him. Sorry. The boy went back to whispering. "Look, I'll rush towards the 3 on the other side. That will make the other 5 chase me. You'll cut them off by surprise, and when I'm done with the 3, I'll come back to help you. Deal?" They both shook hands, and in a flash, the boy flailed his arms and rushed the 3 raiders. Tyler swung his sword and dove to his right. Sir Leftfoot cut off the other 5 and took them head on. Tyler blocked an axe from coming down on him and pushed off the attacker with a kick. "How you doing over there?" he called out. The knight gave 2 thumbs up, distracting him and getting bonked in the head with a club. Thankfully, his helmet protected him from any significant damage. "Sorry," apologized Tyler. After several minutes of running and jumping, the boy began to run out of breath. "Boy, these guys don't know when to quit," he panted. Tyler thought for a second and yelled out, Whoa, time out, fellas." The 8 marauders stopped in their tracks while they tried to catch their breath. "What if..." Tyler took a deep breath. "What if we shared?" The burly marauders all looked at each other. They grunted and nodded their heads. "Ah, great. I guess we should have started that way, huh?" Tyler wiped the sweat from his forehead. The 8 raiders, Sir Leftfoot and Tyler, all sat down by the campfire breaking bread. Well, Lunchables. "And what's this?" one of the men asked in a raspy voice. "Oh, that's a Capri Sun. It's juice. You'll like it," explained Tyler. The stocky man furrowed his eyebrows while taking a sip. His face brightened up and bolstered a hearty laugh baring his yellow teeth. "See? I told you." The men began to fight over the one Capri Sun. Fellas, there is plenty of more where that came from. I'll go get more." Tyler headed out of the forest and into the kitchen. He peeked into the living room where his mom had accidentally fallen asleep while reading her meditation book. The young man slowly opened the fridge and grabbed 2 more before gingerly sneaking off into the backyard again. "Fellas, I got the goods." "Hear, hear!" The men cheered. Tyler sat back down and looked at the doodle the knight had made earlier. "I'm thinking of asking her out to the dance," Tyler mentioned. The knight, who was looking up at the stars, sat back up and tilted his head like a puppy. "Yeah, I mean, she's the only person I've made friends with at this school." "Who's her?" one of the men asked. "She's this new girl in my class. She's really cute." "You should marry her," one of them suggested. "I'm only 11. Tyler laughed. "Okay, then a dance is a good start." The raider raised his Capri Sun. Sir Leftfoot didn't look so well. His armor was rusting in different places, and he seemed to be a little less animated than usual. "You okay, Sir Leftfoot?" Tyler asked. Sir Leftfoot looked up at the stars and then back at him. He nodded his head and walked back into the house. "Well, fellas, I think my buddy and I are going to call it a night. Be safe out there." The boy wished them all good luck and followed after the knight. Morning came and Sir Leftfoot wasn't feeling or looking any better. As a matter of fact, he looked worse. His armor no longer held the shine it used to, and parts were falling apart. "Hey, bud, you doing okay?" Tyler asked. The knight was on the floor with his back against the wall, his visor unhinged and hanging off-kilter. He slowly brought up a thumbs up. The boy helped him up and had him lay in his bed. "How about you stay home today? Just this once until you feel better, okay?" Sir Leftfoot nodded and stared at the ceiling. Tyler went downstairs and got his things ready for school. Today would be his first day alone without his imaginary friend. On his drive to school, his mom noticed he wasn't his usual chipper self. She asked what was wrong. "Just nervous." "About?" "Well, I was going to ask this girl to the dance." "Wait, you're thinking about going to the dance? Why didn't you tell me?" "I wasn't sure if I was even going to ask. This morning Sir Leftfoot got sick, and now that he's not coming to school with me, I don't know if I can ask her on my own." His mom pulled over to the school's drop-off zone. She lifted his chin. "Hey, you are sweet and funny and super cute. Any girl would be lucky to go to a dance with you, and you don't need your imaginary friend." "Sir Leftfoot," Tyler insisted. "Sorry. You don't need Sir Leftfoot to be brave. You got this, kiddo. If she says yes, we go out for ice cream. If she says no, then we go out for ice cream. Deal?" She winked. Tyler glimmered a gentle smile. "Deal," he said. Through the hallways before class, Tyler turned the corner and found Lucy talking to two other girls. One of them was a classmate from the life science course. It sounded like they were talking about him. "Why do you talk to him? He's super weird." "What do you mean?" asked Lucy. "He has an imaginary friend. He always hangs out with him. Like, is he a baby or is he just crazy?" The two girls talking to Lucy giggled. "He doesn't seem like a weird person. He's very nice." "All we are saying is that he is kind of a loser and a little crazy. Just watch yourself, okay?" Lucy looked down at her shoes and agreed. "Yeah, okay. I mean, I did see him talk to someone that wasn't there. I guess that was a little weird." Tyler stepped back to avoid being seen. He turned around and quickly walked to class, trying not to make eye contact, and wishing Sir Leftfoot could have made it to school. Tyler never cared too much about other people's opinions until today. He felt all eyes on him as he shuffled through the hallway. "Is that what everyone thinks of me?" he thought to himself. The young man didn't think Lucy would buy into all of that. They had a great time talking last week. This just didn't seem right. Tyler sat alone in class, listening to all the other kids chat amongst each other. He looked out the window, hoping to see Sir Leftfoot playing out in the rain again. All that was out there was a few trees and a gloomy day. Lucy walked in with one of the girls she was speaking to earlier. The other girl seemed to keep whispering things into her ear while making eye contact with Tyler. The two girls parted ways as soon as the bell rang, and Lucy sat down without saying hello. Tyler tried to start a conversation but was promptly shot down. "I just need to focus on class today, Tyler," Lucy lamented. "Yeah, I get it," Tyler breathed. "But would you like some of my gummies?" He raised a small bag from his backpack. "I got the gummy bears this time because—" "No, it's okay. The teacher is about to take roll," Lucy interjected. Tyler slowly put the bag away and sunk into his seat, confused and hurt. The school day felt like it was never going to end. The young man kept his head down the entire day, just waiting to get back home and be with his best friend. He knew he was a little different than the other kids. They seemed to be more preoccupied on tomorrow than today. Tyler never cared to be like them. But maybe, he thought to himself, this was actually a bad thing. He thought that, if he wasn't hurting anyone, what was so wrong about having an imaginary friend? So why would the students treat him this way? Tyler took the bus back home and wondered what he could have done differently. He unloaded his things and threw them to the side as soon as he walked into the living room. "Hey, bud, I'm home," he called out as he walked up the steps. "I'm sure glad to be back. Today was not a success. I was going to ask her to the dance, but..." That's when he noticed that Sir Leftfoot wasn't resting in his room. Tyler searched the entire house, calling out for his best friend, but the tall knight was nowhere to be found. The boy walked back to his room, concerned for his friend. On his bed sat a note that wasn't there when he first walked in. He sat down and read it. Tyler studied the note and turned it around to see if there was anything else written on the other side. He let go of the message. It dissipated before it hit the floor. Sir Leftfoot was gone, and Tyler sat alone in his bedroom, wondering. Did he outgrow his imaginary friend? or did the night outgrow him? The end. This has been a Right On Audio presentation of Sir Leftfoot, a Right On Press feature.
We hope you've enjoyed this Right On Audio feature presentation. If so, please like, share, and subscribe to receive notifications of all our latest content, and join us again soon for our next Right On Audio feature presentation.